Welcome back, everybody. Thursday night live call-in show at 727-8750. I have candidate Rick Marshall here for sheriff, and I have Harley Kulkin, the town chairman, board chairman, whatever you are. Anyway,
head target. Yeah,
I think
usually your target.
Somebody asked somebody a question here, and I have nothing to do with either one of them.
I did. I was asking Harley during the break with the town board going away. In all likelihood, I mean, there's still a chance that it could not in January. What happens to Harvest Festival?
Well, it's going away. A lot of people don't understand what they voted for. And what they voted for was to eliminate the elected town board, which I find bizarre because our country was founded on the principle that people wanted to be represented. And they gave away their right to pick who represents them and gave it more power to someone else. So I don't understand that logic. But anyway, they voted to get rid of the elected town board. That's one issue. The unincorporated town of Pahrump is a separate government entity, and that still stays. Nothing changes. So all it means is that it's business as usual, and when something needs to come to a governing body to make a decision, like now it comes to the town board, it will now go to the county commissioners. I could envision that, like when they break for the liquor licensing board or whatever, they would break for the town of Pahrump. But they also have the option, which I'm very concerned about, because the elected town board is gone, Nevada law now does provide that the county commissioners can do away with the unincorporated town of Pahrump, meaning it doesn't exist anymore. All assets and liabilities, everything would go to the county and they just run it the way they want. And I'm very concerned about the future of our town staff and everything. We have a tremendous town manager. I was very impressed. She came in and stepped in on those shoes as if she'd been doing it for a lot of years. And I'm real impressed with her. And I would like to see everybody that works for the town continue in where they're at. In regards to Rick's question, the town has been running the Fall Festival, so if everything stays in place, then that would continue next year as well. I myself and many others have said things publicly that we want the commissioners to give us an answer. What is the future of these people? And they refused to officially put out what they plan for the town of Pahrump. Because of that, we've lost 9 firefighters put in for, and were accepted for jobs in Vegas. And understand they're cross-trained. They're also our ambulance drivers and everything. That's 1/3 of our force.
And you know, Harley, I talked to several of the firefighters, and they don't want to leave. But it's the uncertainty that has come from the lack of answers from the county that have forced them to seek employment elsewhere for job security for their families.
Well, certainly.
They don't want to leave. They love the town of Pahrump. They love serving the citizens of Pahrump. They love having the Pahrump lifestyle, but they're concerned because of the lack of communication on the county's part. Yeah. So they have to do what's best for themselves and their families.
Certainly. And you know, a lot of people don't understand, like they'll say, well, the town manager hasn't been with us long, but they don't understand something. The town manager used to be the mayor of Mesquite. She was elected to the city council. In other words, my point being is the retirement for all of that, including the job she currently holds, is all the same as you know, PERS. And so these people have been paying into retirement for years. Did they do it for nothing because they're not going to have a future? All of our town staff, Matt Lewis, Scott Lewis, you know, our department heads, Mr. Sullivan, and on, all the people who have been with the town for years, they do an extraordinary job. And for them not to know what their future is next year, that's just totally wrong. You know, a commissioner or the county manager will say one-on-one, oh, everything's going to be the same, but that's not official. Why are they so reluctant to put out an official proclamation of this is what's going to happen next year for the? There is no transition, really.
I was going to ask you that because they had talked about putting together, at one of the town board meetings I attended, they had talked about putting together a transition team, and the county had talked about it, but I've never heard if anything has happened.
But see, that bothers me when the county talks like that, and the county had a secret meeting in Utah. It was a public meeting, but of course, who's driving from Pahrump to Utah about the town? And the thing about it is, if they're going to do what they one-on-one say they're going to do, that everything's the same, and they just make the final decisions, just like the town board does now, then there is no transition. Everybody does their job just like they always did. The town manager would work under the county manager, and anything that needed to be on the county agenda, of course, would be done between those two. And business as usual. There is no transition. But when they say there needs to be one, it makes me very skeptical that they plan on doing what they say is one-on-one, that they're going to keep everything as is. And they haven't been supportive of the fairgrounds development, which would bring 1,000 jobs and a tremendous amount of commerce into this valley to help support us. And I see at a federal level, we're going to get less and less grants. We see that, in things that we do. The money's getting tighter and tighter, and the things aren't getting better. So we need to learn to stand on ourselves. I saw a funny joke on Facebook, where it said, the Forestry Service says, don't feed the animals, they'll get dependent on you. And then, the Department of Agriculture brags about how many people they're handing free food to everybody through food stamps and everything. So, it seems like we understand how to manage animals better than human beings, But things aren't getting better. People need to open their minds and realize that if you want things to happen and you want to live in a good community, you want an ambulance to show up when you need it and everything, then, it just doesn't magically happen. It has to be funded. It's like I talk about the sheriff's office about it. I think I mentioned earlier, but you're here. It really grates at me when someone says, oh, that sheriff don't know how to manage his budget and he spent $1 million more. That's not the truth. The truth is $1 million more don't keep up with the necessity of criminal activity here. And so we're spending all our money on that instead of public services and roads and everything. We've got to raise the quality of life in this valley up, and we need to bring more money in and everything.
Right, and taxing, government can never tax its way to prosperity. No, government should not attempt to tax.
Nothing personal, but I don't want to see your business grow.
Absolutely.
I think it's successful when it gets smaller.
Absolutely.
We talk about the economy and that gets back to people. When I was in Southern California, there's certain areas of Southern California where the crime rate is so outrageous, it's unbelievable. Then there's other places in Southern California, crime rate is 0 almost. And it has to do with the economy. It has to do with people working. It has to do with the money flow.
It has to do with community involvement.
Right, but because I know a community down there in San Diego County to where virtually the people could still walk out, leave their houses unlocked and everything else. Then there's other communities down there in Southern California to where you don't even walk out of the house, but...
walked out of the house with a gun strapped across.
Oh, yeah. Then everybody said, look, that guy's carrying a gun.
It's just so sad. Las Vegas is our gold mine, and millions and millions of people come there every year. Like the idea of a theme park here. Disneyland is so crowded, you got to take out a major loan to go there, hock up your credit card, and what do? You wait in line well over an hour to go on any ride, so you spend a whole day there, and you're lucky if you go on 6 or 8 rides. And you spend a lot of money. Don't tell me there isn't room on the West Coast or something. And with us next to Las Vegas, we're sitting here with opportunities.
Well,
we're just ignoring them.
You mentioned Disneyland and a theme park and that. MGM, when they first built it, they had a theme park in the back of it. And MGM had to close that down. That was because of the contract they had with Disneyland. Disneyland had a no competition clause in there when they were with MGM and producing movies to where they couldn't be so close to each other in competition.
And part of it wasn't real fancy. If I open up a little nickel and dime grocery store next to Smith's, am I going to do real well? I don't think so.
No,
if you're going to compete, you need to compete on.
MGM had to close that because of their contract with Disneyland for being within so many hundreds of miles.
My idea was originally
MGM thought it would work. Why wouldn't it work?
We would get licensed to have the Star Trek characters, and that'd be kind of our theme, because especially with Area 51 and everything. And then, when somebody says, oh, you know what it would cost to get licensed Star Trek? Yeah, you could never do anything like that. Oh, really? Well, didn't they have a Star Trek adventure thing over in Vegas at one of the casinos? Of course they did. So, everybody wants to make money. And there's a lot of money out there that people have that want to invest in things. We need to be more aggressive here.
Well, once again, we're here live, and starting tonight is the Fall Festival. Everybody who can should go to the Fall Festival, meet your neighbors and that. It's nice that Pahrump has something where the community could get together. I still feel it should be the first weekend of October. Then it could be a Fall Festival, Oktoberfest, or whatever we want to call it. And like Caller said, there'll be more of a money flow coming in. And who knows, it might be 5 degrees cooler. But it should go into the first weekend of October. I think it was very successful then. The vendors like it. I don't know. The rodeo seems to be the only one holding it up, but or they'll be against it. But I think you can negotiate that with them, and maybe you got everybody come down to the fall festival, and you can see Rick out there walking around, or you probably see Harley out there hanging around.
Yeah, utilize that great gift you got. Go meet those candidates and talk with them.
Right, you're
Absolutely.
Get rid of those rumors and nonsense.
Absolutely.
You know? Go
Talk
to
to
the people.
them, look them in the eye, and ask your questions.
Definitely.
Get
Right.
your answers.
You're going to vote for
Use that
somebody,
gift.
at least talk to them, you know.
I promise they won't bite you.
And if you don't go register to vote and you don't go vote, you don't have a reason to bitch about anything. So that's the way I've always felt about it. And we're going to be leaving for the night. We'll probably all head down to the fall festival sooner or later. So everybody have a great night. See you later.
Bye.